Hey everyone, this is Jim Grazanzio. We're in Pune, India at the Oracle Groundbreakers Great Yatra Tour. This is a tour of 10 cities, 10 major tech centers, 10 major tech centers throughout India. And I am here with Sandesh Rao. Sandesh.
Hey, welcome. Hey Jim, how's it going?
Okay,
Thank
good,
you for having me here.
good. So this is really going to be an interesting conversation because you are one of the more popular speakers here because you're like the king of the selfie. Is that
Yeah, absolutely. That gets the crowds going. You know, it's very important to engage. This all goes back to your message in the morning. It's part of the community. You got to make these people feel like they're part of the community. They should be able to have conversations. And selfies is traditionally an icebreaker in this country. So, you know, it's like majority of the selfies are taken by people in India and China. That's kind of the majority of the countries where this stuff is really, really popular. And it's an icebreaker as far as the culture is concerned. So a lot more people get engaged and ask a lot more questions. At least that's been my feeling. And this is my third yatra. And I always do this. And once people are comfortable, they get more engaged and they get a lot more out of these community events, which is precisely what you wanted from these exercises, right? You want people to come here, you want people to interact with the Groundbreaker ambassadors, you want people to interact with the ACE directors and us, and we want people to know what our products can do, what our cloud services can do, and we don't want them to be shy and hold back any questions that they may have. So the selfies is a means for us to better interact with our audience.
Yeah, and we've taken thousands of them. I mean, this is the fifth city or fourth city,
Yeah.
fifth city,
Yeah.
fourth city, and so there's been hundreds and hundreds of developers at these events now, and thousands and thousands of pictures. So we're reaching thousands more people outside of the events here.
Yeah.
So actually, let's talk a little bit about the technology that you've been talking about. What have you been delivering? You've been doing a lot of talks here.
Yes. So I've actually been focused on three main areas. One is, sorry.
You can just move your hand.
Sorry. So I've been working on databases. So I'm talking about databases, new features, talking about troubleshooting and diagnostics. So that's one core space. There's a lot of people who want to know how our autonomous database works and what we use artificial intelligence and machine learning for. I'm responsible for a space called AI Ops. And AI Ops basically means you troubleshoot the entire stack based on using AI algorithms for trying to find interesting trends on what to fix. So AI Ops is a Gartner trend. They track this along with DevOps, which is very, very important today to be able to figure out how to manage large systems. It's a huge industry.
Is AI Ops a new term? I haven't heard that.
AIOps is a Gartner term. It's been there, yeah, it's fairly new, like maybe about the last year or so. And people try to figure out how to troubleshoot their systems. All the major companies in this space are multi-billion-dollar companies. And a third track, which I've been running, is basically there's a lot of DBAs that are basically interested in going down a data science track. I want these guys to know if data science is actually the right thing for them. And once I was talking about all this AI Ops automation stuff, and I realized that half the people did not know much about AI. And I thought, how about a basics AI course? And lead that to the autonomous cloud offerings where we have something called an ML home, where people can actually write code using Oracle ML in our own autonomous cloud. But people don't know what ML is. So you got to give them some kind of a basic introduction to, hey, what are models, what are algorithms, what are training is, how do you do this, what lines of code, how does this look like, what kind of use cases can I run for my business, using which ones to use ML, which ones not to use ML. So my third session, and that's the session that's been very popular in this track, is the first one. And I'm like, in proverbial cricket, I'm the opening batsman. So I have to hit it way out of the field to set an extremely high level so that everybody else that follows me has the energy of the crowd. So you started off and take it all the way there, and my job is to keep it there. And then eventually plateaus out during lunch, and then the next person kind of takes the energy level back up. So that's my goal, is to get people energized about AI and machine learning. There's a lot of efforts internally for Oracle to basically make use of AI for a whole bunch of stuff that we are doing, from the autonomous database to the offerings to serverless. I've sat in a couple of presentations. AI is kind of a central theme that binds them all. It is also the next natural progression for data science for a lot of DBAs. DBAs are basically data administrators. They're responsible for data that sits inside databases, that sits inside Hadoop, that sits inside a whole bunch of different data stores in their infrastructure. And the goal is, how do you take this data, bring it to the ML algorithms, play with things, and come up with interesting use cases for their business? And that's what my topic covers. So a lot of people walk away taking a piece of, okay, now I understand what ML is. And how can I use the Autonomous Data Warehouse platform and the Oracle ML notebooks to be able to do what I want to do?
Now, I've noticed that that particular session has been very, very full. What's been the reaction?
The reaction is people are just, oh my God, I didn't know that this stuff is so huge. A lot of people just come in with base expectations of, I need to know what ML is. I have no idea what it is.
Is there a fast way for getting them involved, or is there some prerequisites they have to know?
No. So here's the thing, right? The session has no expectations of what the crowd actually has to have. And that's very important, right? Because the first thing that happens is when you're doing any kind of ML, it scares people because they think it's an extremely complex set of mumbo jumbo. So first thing is, I don't expect people to know anything. I give them a basic amount of understanding, and I lead them to the data warehousing cloud where you can just go there, paste a piece of code. As long as you're an IT guy, as long as you can read code, you don't have to write any code. You should be able to execute a bunch of predefined code templates. And then you can say, okay, this is how it works. And you can go from not having known anything about data science to knowing something about it in a day, which is pretty cool. And all these guys see it as a natural progression because they have data sitting in all these Oracle databases, and they're traditionally limited to what BI can offer them. But BI is trends, reports, roll-ups, pivoting, fair.
This is far more intelligent.
Far more intelligent and can pull out far more interesting insights than what BI can.
Thus extending their careers.
Absolutely.
To whole new areas.
It opens up a huge plethora of choices for people, what they want to do, how they want to work. We want to drive people to our platform. They have the necessary skills, they have the necessary data, they have the ability to take this information and cleanse it. You just have to give them the tools necessary for the platforms that we have within the autonomous cloud. And with a couple of lines of code and a Zeppelin notebook, they're using Oracle ML, just like that. It's been very successful. As a matter of fact, I've had people that came in with no knowledge of ML and walked out writing a piece of code. So most of these attendees, by the way, they have their email IDs whitelisted. So what they can do is they can go back home, sign into the autonomous cloud. This thing is free for them. There's a certain amount of free code that they can run for a month, and it runs into a certain amount of dollars. They do not need to register their credit cards, which is usually the biggest barrier, right? People want to try a service. They don't know if the cost is going to be run away. This allows them to try services for free because their email IDs get whitelisted. So as a result of which, 30 days, it's a no holds barred, let me go play with this service. And that's what you want. You want to enable people. You want to enable the community to come on our platform and take their skills to the next level, to be able to utilize this ecosystem for what we intended this to be utilized, and hence growing the community. So that was the goal. And that's the first reaction is, oh my God, I didn't know any of this stuff. Now I know a lot more about this stuff. And the second step is, okay, now that I have some basic idea, how do I translate this into actual skills? What tools can I use? As a career change, is this a good choice? These are the most common questions. About a year ago, people used to talk about, geez, I'm a DBA, what do I do? Those questions are slowly waning. Because of all these plethora of cloud choices we have, there's PaaS services, there's serverless, there's some AI and machine learning, and there's the autonomous database. It's opening up these huge avenues for these DBAs to figure out what are the next things they want to do in their careers. It's pretty exciting.
Interesting, very interesting. Okay, so I mean, it's really encouraging to hear that some of the attitudes are changing. But you also mentioned that you've been on 3 Yatra tours.
Yes.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, it is.
Can you talk for a moment about the distinctions between the previous tours and this tour?
The
Growth.
The energy levels, the growths, the number of people in each city, they're increasing every year, at least by 30%. At least. The number of selfies increase, the number of engagements are increasing. I wouldn't be surprised if we cross 300 to 400 tweets in just these 4 cities right now. Many of these people who are tweeting just created their Twitter accounts.
Right, exactly.
And me and Connor have also been doing these sessions for students where we're trying to talk about career choices and how you can do things. So it's actually been a pretty exciting thing. There's the initial user groups, the yatras, they started off with just technical sessions. The new ones, they talk about technical sessions, they have robotic workshops for kids. They have far more varied sessions. There's cloud sessions, there's on-prem sessions, there's AI sessions, there's upgrade sessions, there's NoSQL sessions. And so it's a huge gamut plethora, because today we live in a very polymorphic system. Things are changing, there's all sorts of different tools, and we need to do something in order to allow people to work on whichever platform that they feel comfortable and connect it back to the Oracle ecosystem. So in order to do that, we basically do this, and we connect to everything, and we ship all these tools. So the variety of the sessions, the sheer number of the sessions, so we can see about 2,500 people in just a single Yatra tour. The initial Yatra tour started off with 4, 5 cities, they went to 6 cities, and this one's 10 cities, back to back. So, to summarize the answer to your question, number of cities have gone up. User groups that didn't exist before are now at least 60 to 100 people. The average city, like Bangalore or Chennai, can be at least 300 to 350 people per city, which is absolutely bonkers. And you can meet about 2,500 people. India is the back office for the world, for many of the companies, whether it is Fidelity to Wells Fargo to JP Morgan to Bank of America, you name a company, and the back office is in India across all of these cities. The kind of thing that you talk about, it influences these people as to what technology choices they pick. And hence, India is a very important space where we have to build this community, we have to foster this community. And like just yesterday in Ahmedabad, when we were there were so many people. The engagement was through the roof. There were at least
It's very, very exciting.
30 to 40% more people. And the same thing here. I mean, the only place left where there are no people is the ceiling. We're not seeing people hanging from the ceiling, but apart from that, on the sides and the back, there are people sitting in the front in all our sessions. And that shows that people are hungry for Oracle products, Oracle services, and we need to give this to them. And this is how we build the community.
And you're only halfway through the tour.
Yes. This is going to turn into a way more exciting. I mean, the thing for me, at least for this year, is the new cities that have been added. There's Vizag, there's Calcutta. These are new cities. We've never been there before. There's no user group presence. Or if there is, it's been a loosely knit user group. These cities are going to grow. And we're going to go to possibly 3,000, 3,500 people across this 10-city tour. There's a plan to make it 12 cities. Might be really big. But you know something? India is an extremely diverse country. And this, even from the first to the second-tier cities, there's a huge base of companies here. So the IT population is pretty significant. The hunger for services, the cloud offerings is pretty high. We're coming up with a data center in Mumbai, which is currently in progress. It's actually going to be announced any second. We actually finished deploying some services on it. That is going to catapult our cloud services to a completely new level at Yatra. Today we are provisioning people's instances in Tokyo, in Seoul, in Frankfurt, in Ashburn. We're going to start provisioning them in Mumbai. And that is going to make a huge difference in terms of engagement, cloud services, where you're uploading a couple of gigabytes or terabytes a day. It's going to make a huge difference in terms of accessibility of our cloud services. I'm extremely excited. Every Yatra has been a surprise. I'm a cultural buff. So I like to explore. I'm totally into history. So we do these we do these tours around the place. And like you'd gone on the one, we went to Lonavala yesterday where Sai took us. It's very important to understand the country, if you want to understand its people, if you want to engage. This goes all back to your message of community. Taking bikes, riding across Japan, going personally meeting people to people was a way to connect to those people. Here doing this yatra, connecting with people, giving them sessions, giving them access to our cloud, talking about exciting stuff, doing selfies, going out to Lonavala, checking out the monkeys. That's a way to connect to this set of crowd. So in all the cases, we foster a community. These people will take it to the next level once we leave and we come back for that. Before we come back to the next yatra, there'll be significant changes in this community.
Now, you obviously do a lot of this traveling around, not only here, in India. What's next after this yatra for you?
Latin America. I'm doing the Latin American tour.
Isn't that like soon?
Yes, that's in August actually. So I finish all this end of July, and then in August I'm in Latin America. In October I'm in the EMEA and possibly the Nordic tours. I was supposed to do the APAC tour, but that overlaps with the EMEA tour.
I hope to be on the APAC tour.
They're all exciting. I did the APAC tour last year. So I mean, I didn't do this as much as I'm doing this now, but I kind of feel it's important. I'm very good with AI and machine learning. That's my area of expertise over the last two or so years. I've been helping build the entire backend for AI ops for the Oracle Autonomous offerings. And I connect with people in some of these user groups. So I've got the ability to pass this information.
That's what I was going to mention. I mean, you're a very effective community builder by simply your presence. And obviously you have the technical skills, but you have the human skills. And sometimes you have one or the other. It's very nice to have both.
I happen to just discover I have it. I never did this before. Here's a funny story. About 3 years ago, Sai calls me for their first yatra. So Sai's been chasing me for 5 years, okay? And I'm like, I'm not going to come to India during this time because it's not here, it's not there. So Sangam was what Sai was trying to get me for. And my buddy Murli, who used to run the All India Oracle user group, told me, give it a shot. Help the community. Do your part. And I'm like, I think I'm not doing my part. And I said, okay, let me give this a crack and see if it works. The rest is history. Now I easily do about 6 to 8 conferences a year, at least. And I don't do it because my session is popular or whatever, but it helps build this community around the autonomous database, around all of these offerings. And I get people stirred up. People want to come listen to our technology. And every bit that I can do for making the speakers comfortable, for interacting. I mean, I'm a constant learner. I love working with people. I love learning from what other people are doing because see, you never know everything. I'm good in my spaces, but I want to know what other people are doing because I want to be good in their spaces. I want to learn a little bit more about serverless. So when I sat in a serverless session, I want to know how timestamp caching works. Go sit in Doug's session. I want to know the 25 years of tips and tricks that Connor has spent so much time working on. You know, these are very effective ways to learn things. And I don't get these opportunities if I'm just sitting in an office. I get this when the energy is flowing in these tours here.
So how long have you been at Oracle?
18 years.
18 years, okay.
6 different teams.
And what's your current title?
I'm a VP for AI Ops
AI Ops.
on the Autonomous database.
It's a little unusual for someone at the VP level to be down here in the grassroots.
You know, I really don't concentrate as much on my title. I try to do what I used to always do. I'm passionate about technology, passionate about people. Title does not change me. As a matter of fact, you'll find this very interesting trend in the database group where VPs and SVPs tend to interact with people and they're extremely technical and hands-on. So during this tour, we'll have Tirthankar, who's one of our SVPs, and I've been working with him for almost the last 15 plus years. He's one of the most technical SVPs. There's Cody, who builds the Accelerator platform. He's one of the most technical SVPs I've seen. My boss, Angelo Procino, who owned Oracle RAC and a whole bunch of stuff, we sit and deliberate different machine learning algorithms, which one's going to be good for what use cases. Development is a very technical base. We could be VPs, but we're in there, we're deep. Now, my ability to travel and my interest and passion to explore and pass this information to others is what drives me on these tours. Now, I've been presenting and talking to people. I teach people. I used to do these things called data server internal courses back when I was in support in Oracle, right? So I realized that I have the ability to take something complex and simplify it for people to understand. And that's my number one asset. I take the concepts of AI and I explain to people so that they can get onto our AI platform. And they're not AI people. And that's what's been the biggest hit on this tour. But at the same time, I also have expertise on database, on troubleshooting, on real application clusters, and some of the other technologies. And I have some other sessions on that in a couple of other cities.
Well, excellent. It's been a really great conversation, and it's just a pleasure to have you on the tour as well.
Thank you so much.
For your
Much
time.
appreciated. Well, thank you for your time for actually doing all this. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what you're doing.
It's been a lot of
I
fun.
wish I see you on more tours. And no, but this is really good. Somebody has to take this thing out there, and it's like this whole conversation thing is a full-time thing. It takes time, it takes effort. Someone has to catalog all this energy so that people see, and it drives further engagement, because half the people don't know what's happening in here. So everybody there that's listening to us, that's sitting at home, could have probably used their time better by coming here and learning something new. It's very, very important. So thank you for actually doing your session, educating people on the ACE community and the Groundbreaker store, and coming here. So, and
Well,
welcome to India.
thank you very much. And thank you guys, and we will see you. There's essentially half the tour, still to go. So we'll see you soon with more interviews. Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye-bye.